Well, it's been a hot and humid week here in central and eastern Kentucky, and this Friday, no exception. Looks like that's going to carry over for the upcoming weekend. Summer heat stays put for the final weekend of July. Those heat index values, especially west and north of Lexington, 100 plus, really area wide. It's going to be possible during the afternoon hours all the way through the weekend. They're going to keep that heat advisory going. Now, cooler, relatively speaking, and some less humid air, yes, may actually be on the horizon toward the end of the month here. Viper radar showing really the only activity which has been confined to this area down here around Monticello earlier this afternoon, right over the city northward up toward Lake Cumberland. Now it's in the central and southern part of Wayne County. That's really about it. A couple of isolated cells pulsing up and down quickly earlier through parts of Pulaski and Laurel counties. All the action is to our north, running from Indy over to Columbus. Strong to even severe thunderstorms through Pennsylvania as well, right along a stalled out frontal boundary, which isn't going to move very much, which should work to our advantage this weekend, keeping our storm chances a little bit lower. From the Montgomery County Courthouse, Mount Sterling, it's 90, where it feels like 97 thanks to the higher humidity levels. Jackson County near McKee at the Mesonet site there in Jackson County, 85. Looking at temperatures across the area, we're 89, Lexington 93, Richmond, Mount Vernon 95, in Danville 90, Hazard, Jackson. Your low to mid 70 dew points, that equals our upper 90s and low 100 heat index values, and pretty uniform across the Ohio and Tennessee Valley. Just dealing with some pretty basic late July heat. This isn't unusual. That doesn't make it any more bearable, but nevertheless, we've got more of that on the way. There's the aforementioned boundary laying just to our north. It does look like the concentration of storms will be closer to that during the course of the weekend. A little isolated cell goes by the wayside overnight. Although, notice how our in-house data is trying to pick up on a couple of isolated cells around daybreak. I think what it's picking up on is the storms to our north diminish. Rain-cooled air rushes out of that, and it drops to the south, that boundary does, and the warm, moist air that'll be in place in the morning kind of acts as a little mini front, and that could help fuel a few of those, so just keep that in mind. I think a lot of what we'll see will be during the afternoon hours tomorrow with upper 80s and low 90s. I mentioned the heat advisory. They're going to carry it over through 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. Wouldn't be shocked if it's not even extended longer than that. And even though we're not in it here in central and eastern Kentucky, does not mean it will not be impactful over the weekend, especially with plenty of outdoor activities. Notice the dip in the muggy cast. That's a little hint of the changes that should be on the table a little later in the period. Second half of the weekend, same story, maybe up in the chances slightly, but that upper level ridge, which has kept us hot and relatively dry, I think is going to begin to build back to the northwest early next week, thus cutting down the chances you see through the period. Nothing crazy relative to that, but the area of high pressure, it does begin to work back to the northwest, so that should lessen the chances into early next week and also increase our temperatures by then. Could see mid-90s into Tuesday and Wednesday, but then here comes the front. That's going to increase the rain and storm chance, but also that front will sweep a lot of the humidity, or at least some of it, out of the area, thus dropping the dew points and our temperatures. So it should feel a whole lot better, at least for a day or so, as we kick off August late next month, or next week, that is, with the new month. Overnight fair skies, warm, muggy into the mid-70s, 92 tomorrow, hot and humid. A few storms around during the afternoon. Extended forecast. Even though we're in the low and mid-90s, it's going to feel hotter than that all the way through the period. And there's the aforementioned front. That'll make a big difference temperature-wise. At this point, fairly nice start to August this time next week with highs in the mid-80s.